Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series. Today's Hot Topic: Your brain can't handle the moon. We're going to be talking about a strange phenomenon whereby people seem to think that the moon is larger at the horizon than when it rises up in the sky. So, we're going to talk a little bit about perception and also about the moon in culture. We're going to be reading an interesting article in just a minute. So that's a little bit about the class. Here's a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words you're learning when you are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And also, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a little bit about me. What I want to do is know a little bit about you. Hello, you. Hello, you. Do you hear me? No one's going to speak to me today.
May I?
Yeah, you're you. There's another you as well, but you can start. You. How are you? No one's going to
Hello,
talk to me
teacher.
today? There you
Hello,
go.
teacher.
How are you, B?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm all right. How
What
about you?
is the topic of the lesson today?
Not really a lesson, more of a conversation. The
Oh,
topic is
yes.
the topic is perception, but
Yes, I like conversation.
conversation is good.
Yes.
So the topic is actually perception, but we're going to talk about perception through an illusion that most
Sorry.
people
I don't know the word uh, perceptions.
perception. Hmm. Daniel, could you help him out?
Perception.
Yeah, it's a little bit abstract.
How can you catch the real world around you?
How can you not
No,
catch,
catch.
not catch?
Can you see?
How can you see the real world?
Can you sense?
Sense, even better. Yeah.
Mm.
Does that help a little bit, B? Because those are 2 good words:
Uh,
seeing, sensing, and perceiving. They all more or
perceive,
less mean seeing, sensing,
perceive.
perceiving. You'll see this in the chat window in just a second. There you go. So perceiving is using your senses, sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch, to know the world around you. That's what we mean by perception, using your senses.
Okay, perceptions is the nouns. It is nouns, and perceiving is a verb.
That's right. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the world is exactly the way you perceive it? B. Do you think reality is exactly the way you perceive it through your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and fingers?
When I
What,
was a child, I think so, but now I don't think so. I think
what,
when I
what do you
was a
think now?
child, now I think we we need to see a problem or something in many ways.
Ah, okay. So things are more complex than they seemed when you were a child.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's look at an example, a simple example of perception, everyone. Let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen with you. This website, if you want to look at it, you don't have to go there, but I'll put it on my screen. But if you want to go there, there's the link. And I'm on the link that says Fun Things in Vision. And let's look at an example. This is a simple example. Give me a second here. Look closely at this matrix of black squares. What do you see? So if you kind of put yourself right in front of it, and you look right in the center, what do you see between the black squares? Do you see white, or do you see something else?
Something strange.
Me too. Can you describe it? I see a shape. What do you see, Daniel?
In Spanish, I can describe.
Well, give us something. Give us a color, a shape, or something. What do you see?
It's something moving. Something. It's not the square aren't state stop. No.
So it looks like it's moving?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Hermann grid illusion. While scanning over the matrix, do you see something peculiar in the intersections of the white crosses? I do. If I look at the white instead of the black, I see these sort of like diamond shapes between the black squares, and they're kind of connected. They're like gray, but they're not really there. So that's a really good, quick example of an illusion. There's a couple of these. Maybe we can look at another one too. There was one I was looking at earlier. Well, I know, I'm going to do this randomly. I can't remember which one specifically I was looking at. All right. So here we've got the brightness and color influence distance perception. Since the letters are all presented on your video monitor, they obviously are located in the same plane. But look, I don't know if this will work for you, but look at the two pairs together. And if you look at them over, you know, a second or two, something peculiar happens to most people. I mean, I can see it. I don't know if you can. Carmen, does anything weird happen if you look at the two Z's together, like kind of like in the middle of them?
Well, I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to look, but the second pair, the red one is brighter.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder if it's really brighter. Maybe that's true. But
is that what I'm supposed to look at?
If I look at just, I don't, it's not all of them, but if I look at one of those, it looks like the red is closer to me than the blue. And the one on the top right, the bright red one, looks closer to me than all the others. It's like more in the foreground. I have to look kind of in the center of the black space. I don't know if you've ever had this where you're working on like Photoshop or something, and you change the colors of the fonts, and suddenly it looks like they're popping out at you like they're in 3 dimensions. But it looks something like that. Now remember, you're seeing this small on your screen. If you go to the website, it's a little bit bigger and easier to see. Let me see if I can give you one more here. There's one really good one, but I've forgotten which one it is, so I'm just going to click on them randomly. Which shape is longer? Shadow, which shape is longer, the red one or the green one? What does it look like to you?
green one.
It does. Do you think that it really is longer?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. It's exactly the same. But it looks longer, doesn't it? If you hold your finger up to the screen and you measure them, they are exactly the same.
Yeah, you're right.
If I put my finger up, the green stops at the base of my finger, and I can just kind of then move it to the red. They're exactly the same. So what does that tell you about your perception? Just out of curiosity. What do you think, class, all of you? Does that make you doubt yourself?
Oh, maybe colors change the. I mean, affect the. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe colors doing these things.
It affects your perception. Is that what you mean?
I mean, change the thing that what we see. Maybe if they're both of them are green, it will be the same.
Exactly. I think so too. If they were both green, they would look the same. Yeah. What's that?
If we switch two of them together, it will be the same.
Yeah, I agree. If they're the same color, or if they were just parallel. If they were parallel, you could see it easier. I've got another one of these for length. That's the one I wanted to show you, but I'm not sure which one it is. Hang on a second. Because that one is pretty good. It's a very famous one, too. Oh, wait, you know what? Let's do this one first. Hold on. This one's better. This is a really good test. I found out when I was young that I have a kind of a disability, which most people don't have. Look at the, hold on a second. Look at the yellow dot. Put your finger on the yellow dot and then move it to the right. And when your finger disappears on one of those numbers, you'll find out where the blind spot is in your eye. So everyone try it and tell me which, you got to keep looking at the yellow dot. Tell me which number it is where you can no longer see your finger. Can you find it? By the way, if you're going to move to the right, you have to use your right eye. Look at the yellow dot with your right eye. Can anyone tell me the number where your finger disappears? No? Nothing? It's not working for anyone?
It's not working to me.
No? Are you using your right eye and your right finger?
At first, I using my right eyes to look at the number 3.
No, wait. It's easier like this. Use your right eye and look directly at the yellow dot. Right?
Using my right eye.
Using your right eye, yellow dot.
And
now,
then?
And then move your finger from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 and tell me which number your finger disappears on.
Okay, I will look at the yellow dot for...
Number 2 for me.
Number 2?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's number 5.
What?
Anyone else? Does it work for you? Daniel, do you see it?
I I only see a yellow spot in my peripheral vision.
Oh, no, you got to put it in the center of your vision. The yellow dot is you're looking directly at it with your right eye. There's another way you can do this, by the way. Take a look at the camera for a second. If I use my right eye and I put my finger like this. Can you see it? There. I put my finger in front of my right eye. I take my left finger here and my right finger, I move it to the right. When I get, hold on, I'll tell you. When I get here, I cannot see my finger anymore. It's gone.
But why is it that for you it's number 5, for me it's number 2? When I scroll it, when I get to number 2, it disappears to number 2. So what is it that is different for each one?
Well, you mean why is it disappearing?
Yeah, because for you it's disappearing at number 5. Yeah,
right.
Number 5, and mine is 2. When I get to number 2, it disappears.
Right. And so you're asking what's happening physiologically. Is that what you mean?
No, what I mean is why is that we don't see the same number?
Because we have different eyes. So for you,
it's number 2.
Right. So that means that your optical nerve is in a slightly different position than mine, because because the place where your optical nerve connects to the lens of your eye is a blind spot. There's no nerve cells there. And so what I noticed, especially when I was learning to drive, was I couldn't see things directly in front of me. My blind spot, remember, we might be just different distances from the computer, but my blind spot is almost directly in front of me, which means if you're, like that picture of you and your husband, if I was looking at your husband, I wouldn't see your face. And for most people, the blind spot is much farther to the periphery. Anyway, I found out that mine is like directly ahead, which is a real problem if you're driving a car, because you generally want to see what's coming towards you. What about any of you? Shadow, are you able to find the blind spot? Does it work for you? Oh, maybe she stepped away for a second. Let me say a quick hello to, who else was here? Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed. How are you?
Fine.
Mohammed.
How are you?
Is this your first time with us? I think I've seen you before.
Yes, the first time. This first time in Viber. Verbling.
First time in Verbling, okay.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be reading an article together, but as an introduction, I wanted to talk about illusion and perception, like we're doing today. Were you able to find the blind spot in your eye using that chart? Did you try?
Yes, I try. And number 6.
Number 6. So you and me are about the same, I guess. Very good, very good. So, I want to take a look at an article, a very interesting article. I'm going to, let me go back here. I'm going to give you a link because I wasn't able to put this into a document. So I'm going to give you a link directly to the article for today. But I'll help you with vocabulary and stuff. I think it's short enough that we can read it, or we'll read most of it and get the idea. It says your brain can't handle the moon. Did any of you see the supermoon a couple of months ago? Remember in the news, the supermoon? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Yes, Adi knows.
I know supermoon, but I didn't read anything about it.
Adi, what about you? Did you see it in March?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. Is it bigger than any other's month? But I don't think so because I cannot see any difference.
It's supposed to be. For some reason, I don't remember why, because I read about it a long time ago. But it's supposed to be the biggest the moon will ever appears, the supermoon. But let's talk about something which happens every day. Have you ever looked at the moon when it first rises in the sky? Just gone outside and looked at the moon when it first came up, when it's low in the horizon. Has anyone ever done that?
Yes.
Okay. What's the difference when it's on the horizon than when it's high up above you?
The moon on the horizon looks bigger than the moon above the head. So
I agree, yeah. Sometimes it looks really big. And I can't imagine that that is just me. But this article is going to try to convince you that it's really your eyes that are the problem, not the moon itself, and not the atmosphere, and not the Earth. It's really your eyes that are playing a trick on you. At least that's what they're trying to say. Do you think it's possible? You think it's possible that it's just your eyes?
Yes. No, I mean it's just my eyes. It's just our eyes because there is optical illusion with our eyes.
This is a fairly recent phenomenon that the people have been able to explain this. Maybe about 10 years ago, there was some real research done. Well, let's find out about it. So, want to start us off, Carmen? I'm not sure if we're going to read the whole article, but we're going to get a little bit of background in the beginning, and we'll see when we get to the main point, maybe we'll start to talk about it. Can you start us off in the beginning?
Okay. What is this new theory? The long-retired New York University cognitive psychologist Joel Kaufman asked me. We were sitting behind the wooden desk of his cozy home office. He had a stack of all his papers on the moon illusion, freshly printed, waiting for me on the adjacent futon. Futon is like where you sit. I don't know how to explain.
It's Japanese, a futon.
But it's like kind of a chair or something when you sit on.
It's like a foldable bed, a couch that folds out into a bed.
Okay then. But I couldn't think of a better way to start our discussion than to have him respond to the latest thesis claiming to explain what has gone for thousands of years. To his latest thesis claiming to explain what has gone for thousands of years and explain it. Why does the moon look bigger when it's near the horizon?
By the way, cozy home.
Cozy.
Cozy home. So, what do you think would make his home cozy? It's a good word.
Well, it's like even when you've got a very small flat, when you've got everything well arranged and you feel like home, that makes the house special for you. Is cozy.
Right.
You feel right inside.
Yeah, you feel comfortable. There you go. What was I going to say? Well, let's just keep going around till we get to the theory. So there's a theory that's been going on for a very long time. So next in line I see is B. Can you take the next one for us?
Sorry, I have the problem with my connection, and I don't know what was the question.
Oh, can you read the next paragraph?
In your screen?
On the screen, yeah. Or you can open the link if you like. Second paragraph. Or I can come back to you if you prefer.
Okay, the first one or the second?
Second.
Okay. He scooted closer to his iMac, titled his head, and began to read the MIT Technology Review article I had pulled up. I thought I'd have a few moments to appreciate as he read the view of New York City outside the 28th floor window of his Florida Park apartment. But within a half minute, he told me, well, it's clearly wrong.
Okay, what is clearly wrong? So I know that you know where we are. What's clearly wrong? And who's speaking? If you're not sure, we can get the whole class to help you out.
I think he read something about New York, and when he in the 28th floor, and he see the difference.
Well, the 28th floor is just where he lives. It's just a coincidence. He happens to live in that floral apartment because we're getting some information about who this scientist is, so we get to see his apartment. Class, what is he saying is wrong?
This message, this saying where it's clear wrong is said by the psychologist Lloyd Kaufman in his house. It means that the journalist asked him the new theory about the bigger moon on the on the horizon, but he said Kaufman said Kaufman said it is completely wrong.
Exactly. It's the theory that's wrong. So this guy is bringing him a theory that he wrote in the MIT Technology Review, and Kaufman, being blunt, is saying, nope, you're completely wrong. Kaufman's a very polite person, apparently. Nope, you're wrong. All right? So let's find out why he's wrong. Daniel, you're up next.
Okay. It wasn't even my theory, yet I felt astonished. It described two researchers, Joseph Antonides, an undergraduate, and Toshiro Kubota, a computer scientist, of Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania, who had constructed a perceptual model in which the sky was contiguous with the horizon, so that the moon was placed, as it were, in front of the sky, or clothing it. Since our depth perception also placed the moon farther away from us than the horizon, we are faced with a perceptual dilemma. The scientists reasoned that the horizon moon's enlargement is a product of the brain trying to solve this dilemma.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's wrong, he told me, because you can get the illusion if you have only one eye. Simple.
So, Daniel, I don't know how clear the problem is, but could you restate the problem in very simple language?
No.
Oh, come on. Yes, you can. You can try. No. Tell me what you understood.
I only have read, but I need to read it again.
Read it again. Read it again to yourself. Okay? Tell me, if I would like you to try to restate the problem in simple terms so that we can see if you got it, and then we'll help you out. So read it again to yourself. Or you can also tell me what the gist was. What was the general idea? Why does the moon look bigger? Are you thinking, Daniel?
I'm reading. I can't explain it. Sorry.
What do you think, class? Help him out. Based on this paragraph, what's the problem that's happening in our perception? Just like the red line and the green line we saw earlier. The green line looks longer, but it isn't. What's happening here that's similar?
It is written about the theory of two researchers about the reason why moon is moon looks bigger on the horizon. These two researchers think that it is because sky is connected with the horizon, contiguous with the horizon.
Connected, yeah, it's good.
So it is on the horizon. Moon figure is blocked. Difficult. Occluded.
Forget about occluded. That word it's not important.
Hidden.
It is contact.
Wait. Carmen, what was the word you said?
No, I was about to say that the moon was hidden.
Hidden. Okay. Let's get a real definition, because this is not a word you see every day. That's why I'm telling you it's not even that important. But let's get a good definition for occluded, because I would say occult, like in Portuguese, ocultar is to hide. So I could see why you would say hidden. So, occlude, according to Google, is stop, close up, or obstruct. To stop, close up, not close, close up or obstruct. So, as you said, Yuki, to block. To block something.
Blocked, yeah. I don't know precisely. So, yes, they think so. Yes.
Okay, so, by the way, does anyone want to rephrase that? Or you want me to do it for you? Because I'm not sure if it's clear yet. Anyone brave want to try to even simplify it further?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, what we are see previously the green line and the red line.
Yeah.
No? The moon will be the green line.
Exactly.
The horizon is the red line.
Exactly, that's it. And the reason was?
The reason was
what?
It's product of our brain.
Okay,
but that doesn't explain it.
Yes. What's the important point? Yes, they think it is because of our brain function. It occurs. Such a phenomenon occurs because of our perception. Because our brain misunderstand the size of moon. No?
Yeah, basically, that's it. Basically, misunderstands
our perception. Yeah.
Because we know that it's far away, but it looks like it's on the horizon. It looks close. So the theory was that our brain makes it look bigger than it is somehow. And this psychologist is saying, oh no, that's wrong, because if you don't have three-dimensional vision, because you have one eye, it still looks bigger. So that can't possibly be true, he says. So this is an important point. If there's any questions, just ask so we can understand what the illusion is all about. Who's after Daniel? Dennis, want to take the next part?
Okay.
By the way, Rip Van Winkle is a character in American mythology. Do you know the story of Rip Van Winkle, everyone?
No.
Rip Van Winkle.
I know. Same story. There is same story also in Japan. We
stole it. We stole it from you.
He's the protagonist of the story of Irving.
Right. George Washington.
I don't remember that precisely, but he slept. He had slept for a long time, and after that, the world has changed a lot. And when he woke up, he didn't understand what would happen. Such a story.
Exactly. He took a nap and he woke up 200 years later, And he was the same, but the world had changed and he couldn't adapt to his environment. So we'll see how that fits, this metaphor fits in just a second. So go ahead, Dennis, take it away.
The moon illusion is a sort of Rip Van Winkle feature in the history of science. Unlike other astronomical puzzles, the moon illusion wrote
Rutgers University
philosopher Franz Egan has persisted through massive changes, both in our overall physical theory and in our very conception of the scientific enterprise.
That's a lot of big words. What do you think he means by that, Dennis? So just like Rip Van Winkle, who goes to sleep and doesn't change, but wakes up and the world has changed, how is the moon illusion similar? Is that clear, Dennis? He doesn't say specifically what it is, but he's trying to create a metaphor. We're going to find out what he means specifically, but tell me if you understand what the metaphor is. In other words, if you give an example or explain it in some way, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Metaphor. Which word, Peter? Fanciful.
Which word is? Say again?
Which word do you want me to describe?
Not word, no. The idea. The idea of Francis Egan. How is the moon illusion here? How is the moon illusion like the Rip Van Winkle myth? Which is it's a short story, but it's also kind of a part of American mythology too. Is that part clear? What the metaphor is?
I have no idea.
Okay. So, let's put it this way. We, as a species, as people who do science, have come to understand the world in a different way, but the illusion of the moon being bigger hasn't changed. Just like Rip Van Winkle went to sleep, woke up 200 years later, and the world changed. Our world, our scientific world, has changed in the last 200-300 years, but this problem hasn't changed. We still can't really understand it, even though we know about physics. And even though we sent someone to the moon, even though we have the atomic bomb, we still don't understand this basic problem. So he's trying to make this metaphor that this has not changed. So that means something fundamental about science is still misunderstood, or about perception. So we'll come back to it in a little greater detail in just a minute. Mohammed, can you take the next one for us? This one here?
Yes.
Go for it.
The earliest mention of the moon illusion we know of was impressed almost 3,000 years ago in cuneiform scribed open a clay table when it was housed in the Royal Library of Nineveh. Later on the 2nd century AD,
Ptolemy, the Greek philosopher Ptolemy.
Ptolemy argued that it was the result of magnificent
Magnifying. Good.
Magnifying properties of the atmospheres, mustard and haze.
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 Do you know what haze is, Mohammed?
No.
Haze is like fog. It's like when the moisture in the air creates a mist or fog. You can't see that clearly. It's a little hazy. It's a little bit obscured.
Yes, yes. It is just like apparent algorithm of enlargement of objects in water, which increased with the depth of immersion. He wrote on account of something like divine authority.
Good.
This physical or refraction account of the problem went uncharged for more or less 1,000 years. A real shame science. He also had an alternative physiological account that went largely ignored until Newton's time.
Newton. Who is Newton? Do you know who Newton is?
I know Newton, science man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Isaac Newton, the guy who came up with a theory of gravity.
Yes.
And classical physics. Right.
Yes, I know it. I know.
Okay. Very good. So, in other words, the water in the air does what to the moon, according to Ptolemy? The water in the air does what exactly? If you look at the room through a glass of water, how does the image change? If you put something in, like an egg in a glass of water, does it look bigger or smaller?
It's the same.
Bigger.
It looks bigger, of course. It magnifies the light. So Ptolemy said that the moisture, the wetness in the air, magnified the moon at the horizon. That's what he said. And that's what we thought for 3,000 years until someone actually did an experiment. There's a nice picture of the sun setting over San Francisco. Okay, let's find out about what happens today. So, Adi, you're up. Let's find out about today.
Today, this psychological account physiological account is known as the angel of regard.
Angel or angle?
Angel of regard.
Angel or angle?
Angle.
Right.
Angle of regard. Yes, angle of regard. Hypothesis.
Hypothesis is better.
Hypothesis.
Good.
For the angle that our eyes or head make relative to the horizons, the more your eyes are angled apart, the thinking goes. The smaller something looks, due to the physiology our visual system. Angle of regard sat dormant for hundreds of years. Ptolemy,
Yeah,
until the Irish
it's good.
philosopher
Ptolemy. George Berkeley.
Berkeley revived it in 1709 as part of a debate with the then new geometrical optic of philosophers like
Rene.
Descartes,
Wait.
Rene,
Descartes. It's French. You don't say
Descartes.
the S's.
Okay.
René Descartes.
René Descartes.
René Descartes. Ah, très bien.
René Descartes and Nicholas Malebranche.
Malebranche, something like that. Okay. Adi, in other words, what makes the moon look smaller when it rises? What makes it look smaller?
It's because the angular size of our vision, our angle, the angle of our eyes, the angle of our vision.
Use another word besides angle so that I know that you know what you mean. Don't use the word angle here. Explain it without the word angle.
Because real, how do I put it? Don't use angle.
Yeah, substitute angle for another word, just so it's more clear.
Okay. The position. The
position. Okay.
Yes, the position.
That's right. So the position of your, you have to literally move your eyes up to see above you. So that position of your eyes, the angle, there's a physiological reason why things look smaller according to how we're actually angling our eyes. That's the theory. To me, that sounds very far-fetched, but apparently there's something to it. Let's find out a little bit more. Let's find out how it happened. So, Shadow, can you take the next one where it says they took the illusion?
Okay. They took the moon illusion to support their contention that vision is inherently three-dimensional, and that we can compute size and distance. Compute size and distance using vision alone. In his essay toward a new theory of vision, Berkeley opposed this view, pointing out that the moon illusion could be explained away using the angle of regard hypothesis. Hypothesis. And claiming that there is nothing inherently three-dimensional about what we see, that instead we learn about how far and how big things are by moving around in the world, hands-on, as it were. Descartes, though, didn't accept the angle of regard dismissal of the moon illusion. Instead, he held to the apparent distance hypothesis.
Hypothesis is right.
Hypothesis according to which the horizon moon seems larger because we judged it to be farther away.
Okay, that's a lot of fancy words. Let's try to say that in plain English. So, what did you get out of that difficult paragraph, Shadow? Let's just see if it's clear.
There's someone, his name is Descartes. He said that he doesn't believe on this theory about three-dimensional. But I don't know what he said when he said because we judged it to be farther away. I didn't understand it.
So let's go back there just for a second. Would anyone like to add a little bit of clarity to that for all of us? Because it's a bit confusing. Before I explain it. Anyone? No, just me? Okay, I guess it's just me. Give me a second. So they took the moon illusion to support their contention. First of all, contention means, what's a simple way to say contention? Shadow or anyone, doesn't matter. What's a simple way to say contention? Say again?
Debate.
Disagree?
Almost. Almost. Say again,
Opinion.
last one?
Opinion.
Opinion, okay. Opinion or argument, right. Their argument, their position. So their position is that vision is inherently three-dimensional, and that we can compute size of distance using vision alone. Okay, blah, blah. Berkeley opposed this point, because I'm just trying to see if there's one particular thing I can clarify here. There is nothing inherently three-dimensional about what we see, that instead we learn about how far and big things are moving around the world. So the idea here is that we see things like a video screen. Everything is actually two-dimensional. And that by physically moving in the world, we learn about three dimensions, or we can perceive three dimensions. But normally it's like a flat screen, he's trying to say, which is a very strange thing, because we all know about stereo vision, so I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm misunderstanding his point. Descartes didn't accept the angle of regard dismissal of the moon illusion. Instead, he held to the apparent distance hypothesis, whereby the moon appears to be closer because it's at the horizon and we're looking at it directly, straight ahead. So I think he's trying to say that, if I understood correctly, there's an apparent distance which changes when you have to look up. And Descartes was, that was the beginning of science at that period. So he was, maybe the first systematic scientific thinker or something like that. Kind of the blueprint for the others in many ways. Galileo and Newton as well. Well, let me just see if I can skip forward. Give me a second here. I don't want to go through absolutely everything here. I want to see if I can. Okay. There isn't really one particular part that I can skip forward to, though. Maybe what we'll do is just talk about this to see if it's clear. Okay. Let's do, Yuki, let's do this last part, and then we'll talk about it to the end of class and see how this is clear. And in the follow-up class, we're going to be talking all about the moon and what it means, not just scientifically, but culturally as well. So could you take this paragraph for us?
Okay.
I think that's the right spot.
Neither hypothesis was generally accepted until the 1940s, when angle of regard was made briefly triumphant.
Good.
Triumphant by the work of Harvard psychologist Edwin E. Bowling. That was before Kaufman arrived on the scene in 1956 in search of the thesis topic for this master's in psychology. When I asked Kaufman why, after all the unsolved mysteries in science, he chose to dedicate his attention to this one. He offered his reason as if it ought to have been obvious. It's the challenge of solving a problem the likes of Galileo and Newton couldn't handle.
So Kaufman is not only polite, he's also modest.
He's challenging.
Well, the next one's short. Why don't you do that one as well? Keep going.
Okay. In their 1962 paper, Kaufman and his colleagues, Urban Rock, attacked angle of regard. They pointed out in a section ominously titled Grounds of Caution that if you looked at the horizon moon with your chin tucked in, and your eyes elevated. The moon illusion persisted regardless. Then also criticized Bowling's experimental methodology, right?
Yep.
Methodology.
Correct.
And his evaluation of Descartes' apparent distance hypothesis.
So if you can picture that, if you can, let's see what he says. If you can look at the horizon moon with your chin tucked like this, and your eyes elevated like that, if you can do that, you'll see that the moon is actually the same size as before. It's just as big, according to them. So they didn't believe it.
In doing so, the moon continued to be big. Yeah.
According to them, yes. They said that the problem is the methodology. People are giving this explanation, but if you really look at what you're doing physically, it doesn't change anything. That's what they're trying to say. There's a part here that I wanted to skip to, and I can't really find it though, just as a final point here. But anyway, why don't we stop there so we don't run out of time. So, what do you think about the moon illusion? Is this something, I mean, we've all noticed this. Which, do you think it's an atmospheric problem? Do you think it's a human perception problem? Go ahead.
Judging, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
You.
Judging by a lot of attempts by physicians.
Physicists or psychologists?
Physical scientists.
Okay.
And their defeat. I think it is quite natural to think the reason of horizon moon is in ourselves. So
right.
it is in my recognition, and it is related to our mind and brain function. So I think what maybe Kaufman's theory is right.
There's something interesting. Have any of you ever been to the Arctic Circle? Have you ever been to the far north?
I think it's a matter of in psychology, maybe.
Sure, yes, it could be. Have any of you ever been inside of the Arctic Circle? Have you ever been to Iceland or Greenland? Have any of you ever been a tourist, gone to one of those places? Shadow says no. No one else?
Iceland, you said.
Iceland, yeah.
No,
for example?
I haven't been.
When I was in Iceland, the thing that I noticed was that, and I'm not sure if it was just me, but I don't think so. I felt very nervous when I was there. I had to leave because when I was there, I'd look out to the horizon and it looked like it was round to me, like a ball, instead of being flat. And I could never figure out if I was just imagining it because I knew I was so far north, or if it really looked that way, because it didn't look completely flat to me. And there are no trees in Iceland because there's not enough oxygen. It's so far north and it's cold, it doesn't have the right conditions. So all the plants are like this big. So it's just completely flat. So you could see hundreds of miles, which made me very, very, very nervous all the time because I didn't like feeling that small. Because I'm from New York, and you know, in New York we're all invincible. So it gave me this very weird psychological effect where I felt claustrophobic being in an open space. Not agoraphobic, I felt claustrophobic. I felt like the ocean was going to wash up over the continent and just sweep us all out. And it looked round to me. So, I don't know.
I think we better know the phenomena, rising sun and sinking sun.
Setting sun.
Setting sun looks are much bigger than than daytime sun. So can we explain this phenomenon by the theory, psychological? It is also own to psychological element.
I don't think so. I've been out in the country before. Tell me if all of you have a similar experience. I've been out far out in the country, away from the city, where you've got no light, and I've seen the moon rise and look like the size of a building, and that was not psychological. There's no way. That was something in the atmosphere, but it's really big. I've seen it a few times, so it's got to be something from the environment as well. I mean, that's an extreme case. Of course, what they're talking about is what happens every day. I'm just curious, have any of you seen something similar to what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen strange size or strange colors when you're looking out into the horizon, especially at night when you're away from the city without all that light pollution?
I never experienced that things, but in my university, when I was in the university, I was learned about the optical illusion.
Oh yeah?
And for architecture, yes, because for architecture, like in the Pantheon, Pantheon is not a flat building. It's not a flat building. It's a little bit round actually. So for the visualization or perception, to make it flat, so they build a little bit horizon, not horizon. I mean a little bit round.
Ah, you're talking about which building in Rome?
Pantheon. Yes, Pantheon in Greek, I think. Pantheon.
No, he means Greece. The Parthenon in Greece.
Yeah, Greece. Yeah, you are right, Carmen. The Pantheon in Greece. That's about the optical illusion. That's what I know about the optical illusion, and I think it's the same with the with what we are talking about right now.
So,
I think that's the same.
So to correct. Oh, okay. You're saying the Parthenon. The Parthenon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand you. Sorry. So let me put I know we got it in the class in a second, but let me just put a quick picture on the screen. So take a look at this. Hang on a second. By the way, we're going to find out the solution to this in just in the next hour. But take a look at this picture for a second. Come on, Google. There you go. So that's what you're talking about, the Parthenon. This.
Yeah. The Parthenon's actually the base or the floor is not flat enough. It's a little bit round. Yeah, it's the optical illusion to make it flat.
So to make it look flat, they had to build it in a way that it was actually rounded, or it wouldn't look right to our perception. Wow.
Yes. That's right.
Those Greeks. Those Greeks, they were amazing, huh?
Yes, that's right.
There you go. Very good, very good. Well, here's the plan. We have to stop the class, and I have another class I've got to start right now. But I'll be back in an hour. We're going to find out exactly what causes the illusion according to the latest research, because there's been research done. But I'm also going to open up the discussion to what the moon means and how it has affected society throughout the ages. So I've got a little slideshow to show you that has some interesting cultural facts about the moon and society. Is anyone out there in China? Do you know about the Moon Festival?
Yeah, I'm in China.
There you go.
We celebrated it too in Indonesia.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. Come back in an hour and you're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to show you some pictures and you're going to help us understand it as well. And I'll talk about some things in America. Okay, so bye for now. Come back in an hour and we'll talk about the moon and culture. Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day off. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.